pronunciation. It's just about that time where we cross over to Mind Your Language with none other than Willice, the word master. Willice, I hope you're well. What do you have for us?
Well, good evening, viewers. It's now that time when we get down to good English pronunciations. That is on your favorite segment, Mind Your Language, and I'm Willice Ochieng. I begin with the words that I promised you about last week, and they are right here. The first one, you say devour, devour. Don't say devour or devour. The second word, you say flower, flower, not flour. Don't say flour. You say flower. The third word, you say scour, scour, to scour, not to score. Scour. The last one, you say sour, sour milk, not sour, not sour, sour. Clear? Great. Let's now get to our collections of the week, and the first word is right here. The first word refers to a change in the amount or level of something, and you say variation, variation. Don't say variation, variation, no. Variation. That is the way to pronounce this word. And remember the verb, you say vary in British English, but in American English, both very and vary are acceptable for the verb. Clear? Good. Let's now get to the next word, and it's right here, a verb. When you talk about repeating or to give a summary of what has been said, you say recapitulate, to recapitulate. Don't say recapitulate. Recapitulate, no. Recapitulate. That is the pronunciation. Then, the next word. Let us see if you can handle this word in pronunciation. Can you say it? Well, we are talking about the study of the form, meaning, and behavior of words or a word. And you say lexicology, lexicology, lexi. Don't say lexi. Lexi, no. You say lexicology. You also say lexis. Lexis, not lexis. You say lexicon. Lexicon, not lexicon. Clear? Good. Let's get to the next word, and it's right here. What you should avoid is pronouncing this word the way the letter sequence or the sequences are. So, you say fault, fault, because A and U function as a digraph, that is a combination of two letters representing one sound. And this one represents the long sound O. So you say fault, fault. Don't say fault. Fault, no. When we are talking about a wrongdoing, shortcoming, or defect. Fault, fault, not fault. The next word, it's tricky. This one, when you describe an animal to be active during the day, you say diurnal, diurnal. Don't say diurnal. Diurnal, no. Diurnal, diurnal. And remember, when we talk about animals who or that are active during the night, you say nocturnal, nocturnal, not nocturnal, nocturnal. That is the way to pronounce the other one, but this one, diurnal. That is animals that are active during the day. Diurnal. Tricky, but manageable. Let's get to the next word, which I want to request you to try pronouncing. Can you try? Could you pronounce this one? I know somebody somewhere may have said that is an easy one, Willis. And the person went ahead to say alien, alien, because of the spelling, which is inaccurate in pronunciation. This one, you say alien, an alien. Don't say an alien. When you talk about a person or something that is foreign to a place or environment, you say alien, alien. And dear viewers, we have the verb alienate, to alienate. Please, don't say alienate. Alienate, no. Alienate. That is the way to pronounce the verb. Now, let's get to a word that is not common, but when we talk about pharmacy, we know what we are referring to. When we say pharmacist, we know the person whom we are referring to. Pharmacist, pharmacy. But this word, when we talk about an official book or a booklet that is used to explain, or it carries the names of medicines or drugs and the way they are used, you talk of pharmacopoeia. Pharmacopoeia. Don't say pharmacopoeia. Pharmacopoeia, no. Pharmacopoeia. That is the way to pronounce this word. It's not a very common one, but pharmacists would really, really be happy to know how to pronounce that official book or booklet. Pharmacopoeia. That is the way to say it. Then a word that many people know about is right here. When you talk about great suffering, or when you talk about the suffering of the mind or body, you say misery. Misery. Don't say misery. Misery, that sound s is inaccurate. The letter is S, but it takes the voiced sound Z. And when I talk about voiced sound, for those who may know, those are sounds that are produced with the vibration of the vocal cords. Z. Misery. That is the way to pronounce this word. Clear? Cool. Now, let's get to the next word. Fairly tricky, but you can handle it. Now, this is a word that is commonly used in an idiom. When people talk of things going bad or not functioning or working correctly, you say haywire. Haywire. Things went haywire. To go haywire. That is the idiom. Don't say haywire. Haywire, no. Haywire is the way to pronounce this word. Then we get to what I know many people would be very keen on pronouncing correctly. That is a common word, the 10th month of a year. How do you say it? Try again. If you said that is easy and you found yourself saying October, October, I give you a no in good faith. The stress is on the second syllable. So you say October, October, toe, October. And then we also say November, Vember. You realize the stress? Yes. November, December. So it's October, November, December. Don't say October, November, December when you are speaking English. The stress is on the second syllable. Clear? Good. And now we get to our feedback. And we have Zakia's Mengo of Dodoma, Tanzania. You say Celsius, degrees Celsius, not Celsius. The spelling is C-E-L-S-I-U-S. And you say Celsius. Don't say Celsius, which we find ourselves using because of what lands on our ears commonly, especially locally. Now, Evans Kipkirui of Mount Kenya University. Kipkirui of Mount Kenya University. Oh, this student from Sotik. Evans Kipkirui, you say flower. I have already covered that word. F-L-O-U-R. You say flower. Then your second word, you say thumb. My thumb. Don't say thumb. Thumb, no. Thumb. That B after M is silent. Then we have Nancy Mwaniki. You say keyboard. Keyboard. And the person, keyboardist. Keyboardist. You get it right? Clear. Then we have Agola George of Mtongwe, Mombasa. The female sheep, you say a ewe. Ewe. The spelling is E-W-E, but don't say ewe. Ewe, no. Ewe. And then the plural, ewes. The ewes. Then your second word, you say elite. Elite. Don't say elite. Elite, no. In fact, the other alternative that you can also use for that word in pronunciation is elite. Elite is acceptable, or elite, but don't say elite. Now, let's get to the next person. That is Duke Onyancha of Internet City in Dubai. Duke Onyancha of Internet City in Dubai, you say memoir. Memoir. Then, the name of that country, you can say Myanmar. Myanmar. You can also say Myanmar. Myanmar, Myanmar. But for the rhotic accent, you can also pronounce that R at the end. So you can say Myanmar, Myanmar for the rhotic accent or for the locals. Now, Patrick Oriem or Oriem, you say recuperation or recuper. Recuper or recuperation, and then antagonism. Or you can also say antagonism. That is the pronunciation to use. Kachaya Josh, Eric Opili, Aline Mukaisi, Rose Nyawira, Steve Obade, Caleb Odipo, and Darius. Remember that name, you can also say Darius. Darius or Darius. Tricky. We find ourselves saying Darius, but it's Darius or Darius. Darius or Darius Msaga. Keep it up. Then we have Muchere or Mushere Martin Martinez. When you talk about layer or level of something like in governance or in government, you use that T-I-E-R, but pronounce it as tier. You pronounce it as tier. Tier of government. Tier. T-I-E-R. But remember the same word. When you derive it from the verb tie, to tie something, you would be talking about a person who ties something. Now in that case, you say tire. So tier for layer, tire for a person who ties something. And let English be English. And let any other language also be what it is, because every language is important. But when you get things right in terms of grammar, pronunciation, and vocabulary, or the right choice of words, you always communicate very, very well. You are watching Mind Your Language, and I'm Willice Ochieng. Now, let's get to one person here who really also loves watching this show. Sorry for that. Watching this show, we have Daniel Idungu. You say continuum, continuum, and you also say continuity, continuum, continuity. Get them right. Then we have Jack Zuma Otiende of Kisumu. You say aisle. Don't say aisle. Aisle, no. To walk down the aisle. The aisle. Don't say aisle. Then you have president. To set a bad president. President with C. But when we talk about a leader, you say president. President Uhuru Kenyatta. President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, president. Then President Magufuli. So don't say President Uhuru Kenyatta. No, president. That is the way to pronounce that title. You get them right? Good. Then we get to Chibanzi Mwachonda. Chibanzi Mwachonda, you say lamb. Yes, you are right. Lamb, not lamb. Then plural, lambs, not lambs. Then the second word, you say limb. A limb, not a limb. And the plural, limbs, not limbs. Then lastly, you say plumber. Plumber, not plumber. And this word is very popular on Mind Your Language. You say plumber, not plumber. The plural, plumbers, not plumbers. Now, Mwalimu John Mburu of Nyahururu High School, you say luxury. Luxury, but you can also say luxury. Luxury, luxury. But then you say luxurious, luxurious. Don't say luxurious, and don't say luxury. No, avoid that. Luxury, luxury, lastly, luxurious. Tricky, but manageable. Now, Kush Jeffa of Wote Pwani, you say mentor. You are right. Mentor, not mentor. Mentor is very common because of what we commonly hear as we grow up locally, but the right pronunciation is mentor. So and so is my mentor. I know that would be a big surprise to many people as usual. Now, let's get to Bugason Aliga of Kampala, Uganda. Kampala, Uganda, we salute you for loving Mind Your Language, Friday Briefing, and KTN that much. Keep it up. And then we have Hussein Jirma, MCIPS of Nakuru, Talo Ian of Kisumu, Jay Winner of Eldoret, Arogo Sylvia of Kisumu, John Barry Lumbasi of Thika, Luka Lokich of Nairobi, Naomi. I'm talking about what we call locally Naomi. The name is pronounced Naomi. Naomi, not Naomi. But you can use Naomi because names are tricky. So, Naomi Kemunto of Kisii. And then we have Paul Isatu of Marsabit. And then lastly, Amos or Amos. Amos. Amos, you say Olaimeri. Amos Olaimeri. So you say Amos, but if you feel you cannot pronounce it that way, just say Amos. But Amos Olaimeri of Busia, keep it up, my brother, because we also love you guys and appreciate what exactly you do when it comes to a time like this. Now, Shem Ali Mbidi, you say socialism, socialism. Then at Calvin's KE, you say worth, worth. It's worth doing. Then worthy, worthy. Don't say worth, worth, no, worth. Then worthy, worthy, not worthy. That is the way to pronounce those words. Then we have another man here. Thank you so much. Eli Onyango. Eli Onyango, you say, my name is, if you are an individual. As an individual, don't say my names are. You say, my name is, even with several words in your name as an individual, because a name refers to one or several words by which you as an individual is identified. So you say, my name is Onyango, or even if you have 30 words in your name. So that is the way to go. Then we have Abitangus, devious, not devious. Then we have Matthews Wamwendwa, couple, you say couple, and memes, memes. Don't say memes, memes, no, memes. Then we have the next person here is Daniel Mwai. Daniel Mwai, you say porpoise for that sea animal. Don't say porpoise. Porpoise, no. Porpoise. And you also say tortoise. Tortoise for Mzekobe. Tortoise. But we grow up hearing a lot of porpoise, tortoise. But we should avoid them when it comes to good or accurate pronunciation of those words. Now, engineer Justus Combo, Abel Nyaigoti. We find ourselves saying Abel. Abel, but it's Abel in pronunciation. Abel Nyaigoti and Rogers Liambira of Eldoret. Sugar, not sugar. Sure or sure, not sure. Then you say surely or surely, not surely. So you just get what I'm trying to bring out. Many people innocently find themselves saying sugar, sure, surely, no. Sugar, sure, surely, or you can say sure, sure, and surely. Those are acceptable, but please, sure, sugar, surely, avoid them. That is just like somebody saying raw for the word law. Raw because maybe the first language has no sound, it has r. So instead of saying law, somebody finds himself or herself saying raw. And those are things that are nobody's wish. Share it with me. And they are found almost everywhere in the world. So long as you can communicate, but try sometimes speech drills. Oral speech drills can help you to avoid them. But they are nobody's wish. Get that right. Now, let's get to the next person here, who is Carol Chepkemei. And we also have Josephine, if you like, Josephine Achalat, and Buka T of Embakasi, Nairobi. You say bruise, not bruise. Bruise, no, bruise. You also say cruise, cruise, not cruise. Land cruiser, not land cruiser, no, land cruiser. That is the way to pronounce those ones. And then you say Jews, not Jews, not Jews, Jews. Lastly, slows, slows. And then we have questions that I don't think I can finish for tonight. But for all those people who are sending them in or who sent theirs throughout the week, please be sure that maybe in the next edition, you'll just have them right. But let's have Mwalimu Agita, son, this is Agida, not Agita. Mwalimu Agida, son of man, Richard Mwangi of Karatina, Ouma, Ryan, Oscar, Alex Muridhi, Zayhan Imran, keep it up. Ibrahim Oruma, Justus Orina of Kahawa, Nairobi, Rolex Michael, then we have Josephine, if you like, Josephine Ilukori, Cyrus Njeru, Kings Brian Senior, keep it up. And then we have Bernard Kiprotich, then Sharon Atieno Onyango, Musembi Kioko, and Anthony Segecha. Thank you so much, and keep it up. Then we have Risas, if you like, Resas. You say Risas, but you can also pronounce that name as Resas. Then we have Tafari, Tafari, keep it up. And then we have Faith Ombori. That is the way to go. Let me just handle two more questions, and that is Zebedio Matoke of Kakamega. You say hearse. Hearse for that long vehicle that carries coffins. Hearse. Don't say hears. Then we have Janice Mutua of Nakuru. The last person, you say chaos. Chaos or chaos. Don't say chaos. Chaos, no, not in English. You say chaos, but if you can't produce that chaos, just say chaos. Now, your next word is hatchet. To bury the hatchet. To bury, not to bury. To bury the hatchet. Then your second, that is the third word, crotchet. And then lastly, you say sachet. Sachet. And I remember this same question came from recess, which I said you can also say recess. Keep it up, because now we have to get to our surprise word for tonight, and it's right here. When we talk about that chemical element or the silver white metal, you say magnesium. Magnesium, and this is the word. The spelling is the way it is, but please, in pronunciation, you say magnesium. That is our surprise word for tonight. And then let's get to the words that confuse many people. When we talk about responsibility for something, you say owners. O-N-U-S, owners, not owners. The second one, when we talk about people who own something, you now say owners, owners. Owners, responsibility. Then people who own something, you say owners. Tricky. So the upper one ends in s sound, owners. The lower word, z, owners. That brings the difference. Then let's get to matters spelling. And here we are. When we talk about the past participle of the verb choose, be very careful. It has C-H-O-S-E-N. Chosen. Chosen. A single S. Please don't use the lower spelling. It's wrong. So we don't have choosene. We don't have chosen as the past participle of choose. You only have C-H-O-S-E-N. And you say chosen. That is the way to handle it. Now, let's go to words that are asked by many people. And here we are again for this one or these ones. Now, you say bow. To bow for prayer. To bow in prayer. Bow. But the same word, you can pronounce it as bow when you talk about the weapon for shooting arrows. Bow for shooting arrows. Bow when you bend your head forward in prayer. Bow, bow. The second one, when you talk about an arrangement of people or say furniture, you say row. Row, the row in class, the row in the hall, this row. But when we have a conflict or a dispute, you say row. A land row, a political row, a marriage row. Don't say marriage row, political row, party row, no. That now, or you now say row. Lastly, you say sow, to sow, when you're talking about planting, to sow. But when we talk about that female pig, don't now say sow. You call that pig a sow. Sow. These are homographs. You get it right? Homographs. So you have to understand some of these things for you to distinguish the way to pronounce words which are spelled the same way, but they have different meanings when I talk about homographs. You are watching Mind Your Language. Now, let's get to phonetic symbols. I know you've really waited for this one, but please, the sound for tonight, or the symbol that we have right here, is for the sound the voiced sound the. Just like in the word this, then that, this, that. Lastly, then. So you can realize we normally call them interdentals because you realize your tongue is placed between the teeth. So we say the, and this is the symbol when you're checking the pronunciation. Clear? Great. Now, when you just get time for next week, that is come next week, could you try to say these ones? These are contractions or short forms. Can you say them? If you say add gone, no. Add, no. If you find yourself also saying I'll, no. If you find yourself saying which is very common, no. For that contraction or the short form, I apostrophe M, please don't say and don't say av. Very common, but please, next week, you'll get them right. Only on Mind Your Language, a segment of Friday Briefing, and it only comes on KTN. You get it right? Otherwise, you can also interact with me throughout the week on Twitter, and that is at Willice Ochieng 1. You can go on Twitter, and the handle is at Willice Ochieng 1. My cameraman has been Fred Moturi, but I have to thank you most sincerely for the pleasure of your company and the privilege of your time. Otherwise, I take you now back to that tough and, in fact, I would say the hot and tough, and if you like, the powerful team on Friday Briefing in Nairobi. Back to you in Nairobi.
All right, thank you very much, Willice, the word master, and of course, Fred. And you're equally powerful. You know, when I was listening to Willice, one of the viewers' handles called Booker T, and it actually took me back. Do you remember Booker T?
Wrestling.
Yeah, wrestling. I was like, oh, good old days.
Yeah, that's proper.
Is he still around?
Well, we should ask Booker T. I don't know.
You watch wrestling. Anyway, that's how we wrap things up here on the Friday Briefing. Thank you very much for joining us. I am Ashley Mazuri, our sign language interpreter.
And I'm Jesse Rogers. Good night.
This is KTN News.